Everyone's got opinions when it comes to leadership, and let's be honest, how many experts do we all know? But where can we find real leadership advice that's not BS? Well, look no further. Welcome to No BS Leadership, where on each episode we attempt to expose the gap between what leaders think they should be doing and what actually works without the BS. Listen in as we irritate some, inform others, and challenge all leaders to discover a better path to the leadership excellence we all want.
And here we are again. We're so glad you could join us for No More Leadership BS. We've got this fabulous team put together, and we're discussing leaders and the need to be the smartest person in the room. And I'm not sure if you are this person, if you've worked with this person, or you've seen them from afar, but imagine that leader who just knows everything, always. You have them in your mind? I hope it's an imaginary human, because generally most people don't get to know everything about everything. And that's the myth we're going to discuss today. That leaders need to know it all. And when we discussed who was going to run this show, I jumped in, because being Dr. Sam Jennings with 360 Clarity, that all doctored up business brings some assumptions from other people, which is going to be the smartest guy in the room, and or thinks he's going to be the smartest person in the room. So I want to start the conversation, because my point of view is that's far from the case. And to the point, people who are effective leaders tend to ask more questions. So I'd like to go around the room here and ask, not directly yet, but we've got, of course, Jeff Pomeroy, Jeff McLaughlin, Jeff Dyer, and Myra Hall to offer insights and recommendations in terms of this leadership myth that the leader needs to know it all. What's your experience, friends, when you've worked with or seen or even heard of a leader who thinks they do know everything? How does that affect their team? How does that affect their leadership? And so if I want to call by names, Geoff, you already got some grins going. Please, sir, share with us.
Oh my gosh. So I do a lot of work in education and with other organizations on play and how do we build a positive culture. And I can tell you right now that I have walked into places where the leader has let everybody know that they are God's gift to everything on this planet, and that they are the source of all that is good and well in the world. And every time I walk into one of those places, it is a miserable, horrible place. It's just, I had my wife had a new principal come in, and he stepped on stage for the first time. He met the entire staff and everybody and said, "I'm so excited to be your leader. I can't wait to share all the wonderful ideas and thoughts and the ways that we are going to change education and make this a better school." And immediately alienated everybody, because there were literally teachers in that room who had been teaching longer than he'd even been on the planet. And the arrogance that he said, "I'm going to change the way you guys do things because I know more than you." I can tell you that place is still, it's a mess, because he automatically assumes that he's the smartest person in the room, and he lets everybody else know it. So there's an arrogance that goes with it that, you know what? He's not going to seek understanding because he thinks he already knows it. And that creates an environment where people just, eventually they stop sharing. They stop showing up. Sure, they're there, but they're not showing up, which is a huge difference, because they're not engaged in the process, because they don't feel valued. They don't feel like they're an important part of the team. And it's, if you think you know everything, and I've got some friends that are absolute downright geniuses. And one of the genius things that they've recognized is that they don't know it all. That the more they know, the more they realize they don't know. And so they have to stay curious, and they have to remain in that state of what else can I find out? How can I make this better? And if you can ask yourself that one question, what can I do better for my team? How can I find out more? You've automatically started to go into the realm of other people make things better because we have different perspectives.
Yes.
So sometimes when I work with my clients, if they ask for feedback, I'll give it. And so I'll say a phrase or a sentence and say, how's that land for you? Something that they want to repackage and put out in a different way. So, Geoff, if you were to take that same leader with the message that he wanted to send, what would you recommend for a tweak to make that land better with the audience?
I would change it to something along the lines of, I am so excited to learn from you and the years of experience that you have in this place.
Yep.
I have my own ideas, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how they work together.
Mm-hmm.
So he's put together, you have your thoughts, I have mine. What can we do together? And he's created a team environment.
Mm-hmm.
And that
little
simple
bit of humility.
Yep, humility.
Yep. Humility,
exactly.
Power from the position, and recognizing the experience. Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Jeff Conroy, please, do you have observations you've made over your experiences where leaders were the smartest person in that room?
No. Yeah, awesome. I have. I came up with my own saying years ago that says, contrary to my wife's opinion, I don't know it all, but I'll surround myself with people who do. And I truly believe that. I believe that none of us are as smart as the all of us. Right. Mm-hmm. I think being the smartest person in the room is more than just intelligence. I think being the smartest person in the room also includes effective communication skills, delegating effectively, motivating your people around you, and being a strategic thinker, having a long-term vision and being able to communicate that long-term vision. I did have a guy that came in and thought he knew it all. Years ago when I worked for the Boy Scouts, I worked for a guy who to this day is a mentor of mine. And he was fantastic. He gave me my first real opportunity to be a leader of staff, and I appreciate him. And he's one of the smartest financial minds that I've ever known. To this day, leading a nonprofit, and I thought he was fantastic. And he got promoted to oversee all of the whole Boy Scout division of nationally. He was that good. But the guy that replaced him, he created by acting like you're the most intelligent person or the smartest guy in the room, you are creating a culture of competition. And that's what he did. He loved the almighty argument. He called it, the constructive criticism. Let's have that almighty argument. And he believed in that rather than collaboration. It was his way or no way. And let's argue about it because we're going to get something better out of this because we're going to argue. And he just argued for argument's sake. And I always took that as it's a lack of trust and it's an insecurity on his part. And I truly still believe that to this day. In my opinion, a real leader recognizes their own limitations. Like I said, contrary to my wife's opinion, I don't know it all, but I'll surround myself with people who did. And I've made a hell of a career surrounding myself by amazing people. Can I do the financials? Yeah, I can do the financials. Do I like it? No. So I hire a finance director. Do I like doing case management? Love doing case management, but I can find people that can do it way better and spend more time on it than I can. Thrift stores. Do I know retail? Yeah, I know retail. But I can hire people that are 10 times better at it than I am. And that's what they do. They know their limitations. They seek input and ideas from others. And by receiving those other ideas, you can make a informed decision moving forward as a leader, which is what you should be doing in the first place. By being the smartest guy in the room, you're creating competition within the workspace of who's going to be your favorite, who's going to suck up to you. And we had employees that did suck up to this guy. And unfortunately, I don't do politics well, and I left the Boy Scouts. So I just truly believe that being the smartest person in the room is way more than just intelligence. It's, like I said, effective communication skills, effective delegation skills, motivate your team people properly, and be a strategic thinker and be able to communicate that properly to your team.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's what I got to say about that.
Please, it is a great saying, sir. Very eloquently put. We'll move over to Myra. If you please give us your account of situations, circumstances, or even just the stories people have been wanting to be the smartest person in the room and showing up that way wherever they went.
Well, I'm trying to remember the guy that said this, and I'm not going to be able to right now, but if you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. You're not surrounding yourself with people that can help you grow.
Mhm.
And with that being said, I've had several bosses that were the smartest people in the room and did not have the maturity that I have now, and left a really good job because of that. But since then, I've reflected back, and I want to take the side of the person that thinks they know it all for a minute.
Mhm.
And I'm going to invite others to stay curious. Yeah, because 9 times out of 10, that person that thinks they know it all is either believed a myth that they need to know it all in order to be effective, or they've had something in their life that they're fighting for their worth. And because, as one of you said, there is just no way to know it all. There just is no way to know it all. And again, if you know it all, you're in the wrong room. So I'm not condoning the behavior. I'm not saying that there are there for, this is where they should be, as in Geoff's case. I mean, obviously he didn't have the skills, but if I was his supervisor, I would look at what was causing this. Were his skills to a point that he was still valuable if we could change this behavior or make him aware of it, and realize that it's not generally a case of overinflated ego as much as it is really protecting their worth.
So when you see that in a leader, so imagine that you are serving a leader and they are showing up in ways that is like you just described, protecting their worth. What's one recommendation you might make to help a leader break from that habit?
I don't for the leader or for the person that is required to follow. And I go back to Geoff's situation, is don't take it personally, because it's not about you. It's about them. If you can recognize that his persona, his way of acting is not a challenge to who you are, is protecting himself. Now, if I was working with this client, if we'd gone through the battery of assessments and stuff, I may decide this is not a good fit client-wise, because it sounds like they need more counseling than coaching. But with that being said, you try to find out as much as possible is what is causing this need. It could be a simple thing as, I always thought leaders were supposed to know it all. And then I find out, the more I try to be that person, the more it pushes people away. And I just don't understand.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. I thought I was doing what I'm supposed to. And there's others that think this is how you control the situation. They have a need for control. So there's lots of reasons for being that way. But generally we will, and legitimately so, we'll push back. And a lot of times we'll group up and say, this guy has got to go, and it's very possible he's not a good fit for that situation. But if he brought the skills to the table and could be a good fit for the situation, then, and we just needed some tweaks, a good coach can really, really zero in on, is this a personality situation that needs some deeper help? Or is this just a misconception of who a leader should be?
Absolutely. And those little tweaks can go a long way, for sure.
Yeah.
Jeff Dyer, we've mentioned previously some of your background and looking at your history in the military, healthcare, finance. What kind of experiences have you seen where the leaders feel like they need to be or demonstrate themselves as the smartest person in the room, and how did that affect the team?
Yeah, really good questions, Dr. Sam. I think early on, I recognized that, and my first leadership responsibilities came when I was in the military. So we're talking decades ago. But the realization that I didn't know everything, even though maybe I felt early on like I should know. So I adopted the mentality that I don't know everything, but most of the time I know where to go to find out. And if I don't know where to go to find out, I have the mentality that I'm going to figure it out. So that's the first thing, that you don't have to have all the answers, but you should have a general idea where you need to go to get the answers. And then number two is, and this is from personal experience as well, I think I started out decades ago believing that, I'm the leader, and I believe that I was pretty smart, and that's why I'm the leader, and that the people that I worked with were pretty smart too. So if we were addressing a challenge or an opportunity or something in the company, I'd go, hey, we've got this challenge. This is what I think we should do. What do you think? And I thought that I was trying to engage the people and ask them questions and stuff. And what I'd actually done, because I had given my opinion first, I stifled all of their input. Because, well, the boss said that's what he thinks, he's going to do that anyway. And so it didn't take very long to learn, when you hear back channel stuff, that, golly, he doesn't listen to us. He's always doing what he wants to do, to stop making my opinion known first. So I would say, we have this opportunity, this challenge. What do you all think we should do? Here are the facts as we know them today. And then seldom give my opinion. Instead, I would ask questions that drew out clarity and purpose and those kind of things in the suggestions that they were making.
Yes.
And so my opinion, we may actually have ended up at what I thought we should do anyway, but it wasn't my idea necessarily, right? It was our team's idea, and together we worked on it. So my thoughts around that is we're leading people, and we should make way fewer statements than we ask questions. Stop. If you're the leader, you just aren't the smartest person. You just aren't.
What's that? You have 2 ears and 1 mouth, use them accordingly.
Right. And so, exactly, Conroy, exactly. And so instead of making statements, ask questions, and that will engage your team. And here's the cherry on top of the whole thing. You'll actually end up with better decisions.
Yeah,
absolutely. And one of my favorite behavioral economics and behavioral science phenomena is anchoring. By, like you just described, if you say this is an idea, you've established the anchor by which all other ideas will be measured. So people won't stray too far from there because, well, boss already said, and you put the idea in their minds. Whereas if you said in your second iteration, what ideas do you have? It's wide open. And you may get to a much better solution, but it started from an open slate compared to, well, Jeff's already going to tell us what we're going to do here in 10 minutes anyway. So let's just get to it.
Absolutely, Sam. And it's really simple. As a leader, all you have to do is ask this simple question. And it goes like this: what do you think we should do? And then, to Conroy's point, and then shut up and listen.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I always had the mentality when employees would come up to me or direct reports would come and ask me questions, or what are we going to do about this? I would say, well, what would you do? Because I felt that if they were coming up to me to ask this question, they've been thinking about it for a while. They've been thinking about it. So I want to know what you're thinking. I mean, talk to me. And that's where the synergistic effort happens, and the better product comes in together. Yeah. If they're willing to come bring it to you, they've been thinking about it for a while. So listen to what they have to say. Don't just jump in.
Absolutely. And this is maybe off topic, but a little bit the same. Employees would bring challenges to me as the leader, and I used to think I had to solve them because I'm the leader. And then what I learned, and it didn't take very long to learn it, is that when you bring me a challenge, my first response is, well, that's interesting. I wasn't aware of that. Thank you for bringing that. What do you think we should do to address it?
Yeah.
And the first few times you do that, the employees are likely going to respond, I don't know, you're the boss. You're supposed to know.
Yeah.
And that got me to the place where, look, it's great to bring me a challenge because I can't see everything as the leader. So yes, bring me the challenge, but you also have to bring a suggested solution to that challenge.
Exactly.
Because if you don't bring the solution, then all you're doing is bitching at me.
Exactly.
And that's not what we want. We want engaged people that are not only identifying challenges, but are also identifying solutions.
See, and the same thing. I'd have people come to me, and it's real easy to poke holes in things.
Yes.
But what are you going to do to fill the hole? What's your idea to fill the hole? What would you do?
Right.
No, I 100% agree with you. And there are those people that just like to bitch just to bitch.
Yep.
You know, I call them malcontents, but you know, those people, there's just people that are just malcontent. They're just not happy.
Yeah. There's only one acceptable or one unacceptable answer to the question, what do you think we should do about it? And that answer, the unacceptable answer is, I don't know.
Yeah.
And
I don't
it's
accept
not
that with anybody.
Right. It's not unacceptable because you don't know. It's unacceptable that you don't know and you choose to live there. So yeah, it's okay not to know, but let's go figure out what we need to do, and we're going to do it together, right? Absolutely.
Well, as a leader, if somebody comes to you and says, you know, you ask them, what do you think we should do? And they say, I don't know. Great follow-up question. What if you did know?
Yeah.
There you go. Yes. Perfect.
It allows them. Right. So you give them a second chance. It gives them a little more think time, but it also allows them to, well, what if you did know? Like, and if they still don't know, well, just guess.
Yeah.
Right. You keep giving them the option to come up with more things. And it's amazing what happens when you open up that world of possibilities for somebody who's probably thought about it, but didn't feel like they had permission to share, because you're actually going to listen, because you push them 1, 2, 3 times to give their feedback. And it can change your world.
And by asking
to that point,
go ahead.
Yeah, I'll jump in real quick. If people say they don't know and they don't have an answer, and you're asking for them to give feedback, what's one reason in your mind why they would have not been okay giving an opportunity, giving an answer, or giving a possible solution?
Well, I think one of the reasons they might not. Oh, it's Jeff or Geoff?
Geoff.
Jeff or Geoff.
Jeff or Geoff. I think oftentimes if that environment of trust, if they think that they're just going to get shot down no matter what they say,
right,
and they're not going to share. So you have to create that vulnerability of, it's okay. I'm going to actually consider what you say. And if if you start with simple things, start with little things that are easy, like no brainers, like this doesn't matter to my daily activities. What do you think we should do? But it matters to them. That's like, great. That sounds like an awesome idea. Make it happen. Go for it.
So the beautiful thing about doing that is when people will come to you and say, hey, I'm poking a hole in this. And you go, okay, so what do you think we should do about this? I mean, you know, when it starts out, it's, you've been thinking about this. So tell me what you're thinking. You're starting the process of delegation and creating boundaries. Because if they're coming to you saying, well, this is the problem, and say, okay, what do you want to do? And they'll say, well, I would have done X, Y, and Z. And say, that's a great idea. Why don't you go ahead and do it? If that happens again, you can go ahead and just shoot me off a text message or an email saying I'm taking care of it this way, but go ahead and take care of it. So now you're setting that delegation parameter of, okay, well, now I've got my little world's from here to here. It's getting bigger. And it's starting that trust and that relationship. And
you're giving them ownership in that process. Yeah.
That's a whole nother podcast.
That's another podcast.
Sorry.
Being here and showing up.
It's not far off topic, because when people feel like they can't give a answer or make a recommendation, answers are decent, it's because they're talking to a boss who thinks they're the smartest person in the room.
Boom. Right there. Yep.
Why can't I share? Because you already know what you're going to do. Why would I bother sharing the information?
Yep.
And for people who have that kind of culture, we can describe it very easily in terms of give them the opportunity to think it through, give them a chance to be wrong. Of course we would, but we're not helping those folks. They're doing it. It's the people who feel like they have to be right and trying to backpedal from that experience where it's not about being right. It's getting to the right answer, no matter who brings the solution or even part of the solution to trigger the right outcome.
Right. Well, and how many people did I have come to me saying, well, this is what we ought to be doing? My job as the leader is to absorb information and have a nice interactive feedback. I may not do your suggestion though. You know, just because I didn't do your suggestion meant that you were wrong. It just, I added that to my decision-making process. And some people take that personally, like, oh, they don't care. They're not listening to me. No, I did listen to you. But this is what I weighed and this is what I thought. And this is the decision I made based upon the factors of information that I had.
Yep. Absolutely.
And there are, so you'll get those people. And I know Geyer's worked with those people as well, that, you know, you're not taking my suggestion, so you're not listening to me. No, I heard your suggestion. I just chose to go a different way.
Right. And this is how it played into the decision. So it's still present. It's just not the way that you had imagined when you shared it.
Correct.
Right. You're right, Conroy. That's exactly how it goes. And if they come back and feel that way, then it's on me as the leader to communicate more effectively that what the process was that I went through, so that
why I came to that decision,
so that they know you heard them. Right.
Yeah.
So as we start to wind down this wonderful conversation, I want to share again, the myth is that leaders need to know everything. You need to be the smartest person in the room. And what we discussed in part today is effective leaders recognize their limitations. They know what they know and they know what they don't, and seek out the information to fill the gaps they don't know. And I think Jeff Geyer may have said, you don't have to have the answers, but you have to have the means to go find them. I don't know is okay as a start. I'll find out is the rest of that statement. And if you feel like you have to be the most anything, the most something in a room, maybe, perhaps, be the most curious person in the room. And Jeff Conroy just said, 2 ears, 1 mouth, use them in the proper ratio.
Correct.
So we are No More Leadership BS, Myra Hall with Waypoint Coaching Group, Geoff McLaughlin, Professionals at Play, Jeff Dyer, Phoenix Coaching, and of course, Jeff Conroy of Conroy Leadership Consulting. I'm Dr. Sam Jennings with 360 Clarity, where I help leaders lead leaders because nobody can hate going to work. And to close out this one last episode, friends, thank you for listening. Please go out and not be that smartest person in the room. Until next time, we are No More Leadership BS. Oh, wait a minute. We're not going to close yet because we need your help. We need your assistance. We have your friendship. We have your engagement. We also would like your 5-star review. Tell a friend, tell 5 friends. And if you leave that 5-star review wherever you get this podcast, and you can also share a comment, something that you like, something you're taking back to work, something we should do differently, say so. Put it there, put it in our email, ask us at leadershipbs.co. Download those episodes, subscribe to it through your podcast device, and friends, family, and new colleagues. I'm Dr. Sam. We're going to wrap it up. Thanks for listening.
Thank y'all.
Bye. Later, bye.